Good morning, afternoon, or evening, Church at Main. This is Rashad doing the Midweek Main for Drew because I felt so passionate about the sermon that I preached on Sunday that I just wanted to kind of follow through on it. I am at the hospital with my grandma. Grandma Carlina, say hi.
Hi.
And I figured who better than to ask about the freedom of self-forgetfulness, of just being satisfied in Jesus, just being satisfied that you belong to God, than my grandma. She's here right now just dealing with some things, but she gave me permission to kind of include her on the Midweek in Main. So Grandma, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Okay.
All I want to do is just hear your thoughts about what it means to be a child of God and how that can help you kind of look past any judgment of anybody else, because you know his judgment of you is that you're his. That's all right. We're going to include all that. So just look at it and talk.
Oh, hello. I'm in the hospital. I am here with Rashad Cunningham, and he's talking about
Freedom of self-forgetfulness.
freedom of self-forgiveness. Yes, and me and he was talking, and I'm 83, but I am so thankful to the good Lord that I learned about him before I leave here. And that I know what he'll do for you. All you have to do is ask. And he says that in the Bible, ask and you shall receive. I tell you, I am just so thankful, so happy, so that my life is altogether different. And I just tell anyone, they say, try this, try that, try God. God will be with you forever through it all. I continue to love. My family, I have a good family. They are here for me. I am so blessed. I don't complain about nothing because the Lord has blessed me. He been there for me. Anything I ask for, it comes. I could not be looking for something and turn around and it'd be right there. What God won't do.
Thank you, Grandma. Thank you. And so, church family, basically, as me and my grandma were talking, and she said, I'll preach to anybody, anywhere about God. What's more freedom of self-forgetfulness than being in a hospital bed and recording a video to share the testimony and the gospel of Jesus Christ from my grandma's perspective, right? That's her freedom of self-forgetfulness. Although she did say before we start recording, do I look okay? And I told her, it don't matter if you look okay. That's the whole point of what we're doing, right? And so,
I'm still a woman.
she said, I'm still a woman. And so, church family, I pray my grandma's words minister to you. They're ministering to me. But ultimately, those verses that we looked at and we kind of eavesdropped on, the story of Adam and Eve, the story of Moses, the story of Abraham and Sarah, the story of Jeremiah, and we had those different scriptures that you could go look at. I pray that you found some time to look at a few of them. But the key was this, that without the freedom of self-forgetfulness, these people were paralyzed from doing the purpose of God. It's crazy how when we look at self, we find ourselves in a prison that paralyzes us, and it keeps us from being able to participate in the purposes of God. With Moses, he was being called to participate in the purpose of leading the people, but he was paralyzed because when he looked at himself, he didn't think he was capable of being a good leader. When it was, somebody's coming in as well. When it was Jeremiah, they said, he said, I'm too young. And then when it was, let me think of somebody else. Hold on real quick.
Okay. Yeah, how are you feeling?
Let me step over here to the side real quick. My grandma, the physical therapist just came in. But with the freedom of self-forgetfulness, what we're asking you to do is to look past looking at yourself and look at what God thinks about you. Look at what Jesus thinks about you and be satisfied with that. Nothing more, nothing less. I can't wait to be back with you guys on next Sunday. And I pray the words of my grandma were able to minister to you. The reason I had to do it in here is because my schedule changed after saying yes to this when my grandma got put in the hospital. So I figured I'd put it all together. But since the physical therapist is in here, I'm going to get off of here because it may be getting a little confusing. I love you all. I am praying for you all, and I look forward to seeing you. Please read the book, read the verses, and start asking yourself, what is lifting your head up that's not Jesus? And how can you become free from holding on to that and hold on to him? Love you. Have a blessed one.